Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather today. I'm meteorologist Al Peterlin, and I'd like to talk about the weather stress forecast for April 12, 2026. We do keep additional graphics available at tpatw.com. We also maintain a patient weather storefront on Amazon. Amazon purchases made through our patient weather storefront support the activities of patient weather. Looking at the surface map for the 12th, it's rather unsettled with lots of activity across almost the western third of the country, especially from California into the Sierras and up into the northern Rockies where more snow will be falling. We also have a very active band of weather stretching all the way from San Antonio to Minneapolis, covering much of the middle Mississippi Valley, the Great Lakes, and there is a significant warm front stretching all the way from the Michigan Upper Peninsula across Pittsburgh to Atlanta, and that heat wave will be pushing across the entire eastern half of the country. Looking at pressure change, or rather our vitality index, that composite measure of all of the elements that can impact human health, we have a little bit of activity pushing onshore at the northern California. Lots of cold air and activity here in northern Montana. Swath of unsettled weather pushing all the way up from, again, El Paso, this time up into the central sections of Kansas. Lots of activity about the Great Lakes. Now looking at pressure change, we have rising pressure here along coastal California, actually for much of central and northern California. Rising pressure in northern Montana, rising pressure in the east from Long Island across Connecticut into the easternmost portions of Maine. The interesting aspect is the falling pressure from Oklahoma and Kansas all the way across the middle Mississippi and Ohio valleys through most of the Great Lakes, and especially strong from Minnesota through Michigan and Wisconsin. Looking at temperature change, again we have some cool air, and mostly because of storminess, clouds, and unsettled weather here in the Rockies and Sierras. Lots of cold air just still hanging right along the Canadian border at Montana, but a real surge of moisture pushing up into the high plains, all the way up and through the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley, and making its way into New England. Dew point temperatures reflect much the same thing. We have drying here in the west, and this drying that you're looking here is just behind that surge of moisture that's moving into the inlet, and we have very significant moisture across the lakes, and the vapor pressure map just confirming that. Looking at lifted index, which is a measure of instability, and there's more indications that there'll be lots of showers and thunder showers all the way from South Texas, clearing up into central Kansas. Looking at the change in oxygen availability, you can see we have migraine stresses all the way across California, up into Oregon, across into Idaho, down through Nevada, western Utah, western actually portions here of covering much of Idaho, and all the way down through Arizona. We also have a bit of migraine stress here along the coast, Long Island to Connecticut, and then along the coastal areas of Maine. The more significant risk is asthma and arthritis stresses, and that runs all the way from Texas across Oklahoma, Kansas, up into Iowa, Minnesota, and all over the Great Lakes, Michigan, Wisconsin, and northern Illinois, northern Indiana, across Ohio, and into the western half of Pennsylvania, and swinging on up right along New York, up through Buffalo. Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather. Your comments are appreciated, and if you hurt, tell us where you're located.